You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome to Cinemacy, a film discussion and review podcast on BQN. We're here to showcase the films you probably missed but should definitely check out, from independent and obscure to art house and absurd. Each episode will gather, perhaps with a cocktail in hand, to discuss it all. I am your host, Matt Jennings, and with me today are Mark and Davey.
Our associate producer's here.
Just come to check you up on things, make sure that, you know, I'm getting what I pay for.
Oh, so far, I think we're not doing that hot, but, you know, hopefully things improve.
Look, I wouldn't be associate producer if I was not a huge fan.
Oh, thank you so much.
I bet you say that to all the podcasts.
Only the ones I'm the associate producer of.
So, what are we drinking?
Oh, well, I've got whiskey ginger. That's what I ended up with.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm drinking water just because I am going to see Dune 2.
Ooh, jealous. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm so excited. So excited to go back into the Dune-iverse.
I can't believe we found tickets. It's been sold out everywhere around here.
Well, my friend Will bought them. He really wants to see it in IMAX.
IMAX, yeah. Well, it's 9:30 in the morning for me, so naturally I have an espresso martini. No, just kidding. It's just coffee. It's just coffee in my Donald Duck mug.
Listeners, that Donald Duck mug is so cute. It's a very angsty, perturbed Donald.
I love it.
My favorite Donald. I got this on my last trip to the States, actually, at Disneyland. So it's a treasured possession.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get into it. The film that we are discussing today is They Cloned Tyrone. The synopsis is John Boyega, Tiana Paris, and Jamie Foxx star in They Cloned Tyrone. It is a story about a pimp, a hoe, and a gangster that walk into a basement and uncover a government conspiracy to destabilize and suppress the black community. This film was directed by Juel Taylor. It was written by Juel Taylor and Tony Rettenmaier. So, just to kick it off, why'd you guys want to watch?
Because you told me I had to come on the show.
I mean, that is true. That is true.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, look, I trusted your judgment, and I'll be honest, this was not a film that I would probably go and, if I saw it in my Netflix list, it's not something I would probably normally go and watch. And when you both sent me the trailer and said, hey, come on the show, this is the film we're going to watch, and I was like, a Netflix movie? Honestly. Like, I'm going to have to put a brick on top of my phone so I don't play with it the whole time, because that's normally what I get when I watch Netflix movies.
Oh, my Lord.
But I'll let the rest of you speak, but there was some stuff that went over my head, and we'll get into that, but I had a great time watching this film.
Good. Well, that is a good thing. That's a good thing.
Oh, my Lord. So I can't believe this was not a Jordan Peele movie. Because I got the vibe.
It totally would be.
Right? It was
absolutely would be.
But why did I want to watch? When you told me about it originally, we talked about it a while back. When you told me about this movie, I watched the trailer, and I couldn't believe I hadn't heard of it previously, because it looked so wildly entertaining and sci-fi, but kind of comedy, but kind of action adventure, and had so much stuff going on. I was really enthused about checking this out. So thank you for the recommendation, Matt. I was not disappointed. We'll get into it, but I was definitely entertained.
For me, shout out to my dad. My dad showed me this movie last year around the Christmas season. I'd been planning to watch it in July. I think that's when it came out last year, and I just didn't get around to it, and it just went over my head. And then I watched it with my dad. I always watch a movie with my dad. He always shows me something, and this is the one that he showed me for Christmas break. And now it's one of my favorite movies of all time so far.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Shout out to Dad. Hey, Dad. Moving on, I guess I'll call this topic 1B. This film makes some commentary on cultural appropriation. We've got the white men that are working at the underground facility it's like the uniform look is, they all have these afros and these goatees. And it looks so ridiculous. And there's one really funny moment where Jamie Foxx, Tiana Paris, and John Boyega all make it to the underground facility, and they see one of the guys in his afro, just like dancing to some Michael Jackson. I just call that a prime example for me of cultural appropriation, or I guess the use of cultural appropriation in this movie. But can you think of other examples of cultural appropriation that you've seen in the last 10 years, 5 years?
I'd probably jump on the queer cultural appropriation, which is what I think I see a lot of. It's straight people in gay bars, and yes, we should all be able to just be one big happy family together. But there's a lot of even stuff that they do with Drag Race, with lip syncs, has been picked up by other shows with like lip sync battles and all that kind of stuff done by straight people, and straight women now talk like gay men. And I'm just like, it's like they've taken all the really, really like fun, niche, unique parts of what made our community really vibrant and gone, ooh, that's fun. We'll take that like we take everything else. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I wanted bussy to be my word. I don't like that everyone else knows what bussy means now. It really bothers me.
It bothered me the first time I heard it. I'm like, I don't know what that word is, but it's making me uncomfortable for some reason. I've got skin crawling going on. Really? Straight people say bussy? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, it is now been used by straight people. And I'm just like, wait, that's my word.
I don't understand how it could be used by straight people, I guess.
Oh,
but okay.
Straight men have found their anus. Can I say that on this show?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
you can say anything on this show, Davey.
Great. No, it is. Straight men getting pegged is
it's a thing.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a thing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, way more common. Right up their bussies.
Yes.
Well, I guess for me, like I've noticed not only what Davey have said, but I've also noticed Native American appropriation with the people having like the dream catchers and things like that, or like, you know, the white college students going and like, I'm going to go do peyote in the desert. And it's like, well, you know, this is supposed to be a ritual, you know, that kind of thing. And they don't really have respect for it like that. So I've seen it there. And then also like, you know, going into like Target and there's all these, you know, the Buddha statues and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like this is like religious iconography that's important to a lot of people in the world, and you're just gonna like put it next to your cat's litter box. I mean, you know, it's one of those things that it's a little insulting if you don't actually know what the meaning is behind some of these objects or some of these symbols. You're just buying at like a thrift store to like decorate your house.
I like 100%. I 100% agree. I think about that a lot in terms of the music industry, and you know, you have a lot of artists of many shades and many colors that are into neo soul, that are into R&B, that are pop locking. You know what? I guess if it's still called pop locking, I don't know. But you know, you see a lot of that influence with a lot of different artists of a lot of different ethnicities. But it seems that, you know, the homage or the acknowledgement of it coming from, or part of that coming from the Black community, is not seen at all. I mean, I think of most recently Jay-Z making commentary. Was that the Grammys recently? Yeah. You know, that speech that he made. There was one year, I know I keep bringing up, I guess this is in reference to Beyonce as well, but there was one year where Beyonce and Adele were up for Best album of the year. And
didn't Adele say that Beyonce should have won or something like that?
Did.
Yeah,
she did. And but that is and that to me, Adele even having that acknowledgement is to me an advocacy and a I don't know what the right word is, but an acknowledgement, I guess, being an ally, being a supporter. That's
and now Beyonce is well, she's appropriating white people and she's putting out country music. So if you can't beat them, join them.
Can I just say, from the outside looking in, what the hell is wrong with your country?
I don't know.
Seriously,
your guess is as good as mine. We have lost our minds.
Look, and look, I'm just going to say this, right? Because like Australia cannot sit on a high horse sometimes, to be quite honest, on this topic. You know, you were talking about Native Americans just before, and you know, as I watched this movie, I thought, okay, some of the cultural aspects of this are not landing with me as someone who is not an American, but it did make me having this conversation now is making me reflect on the fact that Australia has its own but very different, complicated racial issues, specifically with the treatment of the Indigenous culture and the First Nations people that we have here. A people, one of the oldest civilizations on the planet, who were actually, there was a government policy after we were colonized to breed them out.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Literally, they were so Indigenous people were taken from their homes, and then they were put with white people to have other children with, and so that was how they do it. They called it the stolen generation. And then we seem to be coming a long way. Everyone's like, oh, we acknowledge this. We do these acknowledgements of country at all our big events. Everyone's big on what we call closing the gap with the Indigenous First Nations people. Yeah. But then when we have a referendum last year to provide them with what we called a voice to Parliament, so we were going to enshrine a recognition of them as the First Nations people in our Constitution, we overwhelmingly voted no. Wow. So but then you get all these like people, you know, white people standing up going, "We're not a racist nation, so stop saying I'm racist for voting no." Rah rah rah. It was divisive. Blah blah blah. And so I was sort of like, and forgive me, I got on a bit of a political soapbox there, but I was just thinking about it, right? Because a lot of Australians will look at American issues with racism and politics and all that, and go, you know, tut 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 tut. And I'm like, all right, glass house, like let's not throw those stones too hard, shall we?
It is, you know, it is definitely something that is global. Very quick side tangent, and I know we didn't bring it up, but we'll circle back around to things that we've recently seen. I think I brought it up on the last pod. Listeners, if you have not seen Origin, I strongly encourage you to watch Origin, especially some of the stuff we're talking about today. Directed by Ava DuVernay, beautiful piece. Moving on. Something that I really like about this movie is that it challenges the character archetypes that you normally see, the stereotypes that you normally see when it comes to Black people. You've got the pimp, you've got a hoe, you've got the gangster, and normally those stereotypes, they're aligned with stupidity, they're aligned with crime, they're aligned with all these different things. And, you know, it takes away from, even, you know, in the real world, when you see people that are in those kinds of situations, it doesn't mean that they're not intelligent. It doesn't mean that they, you know, don't have some value, some worth. And I think that this movie really takes that and flips it on its head, and it's a much more nuanced and honest approach to that. Is there anything that stood out to you guys about these characters with that flip?
Well, I just want to say, when you put people into boxes like that, or categorize somebody as X, and it happens a lot with the gay community, right? Where a lot of people are afraid to come out because they don't want to just be seen as a, you know, just the gay person. That's my gay neighbor. People don't want to just be that, because then it comes with a whole bunch of other things that may or may not be them, you know? And I think it's the same here. It's like, if you just label somebody, oh, well, she's a hoe, or that dude's a pimp, that dude's a gangster, you're taking a little bit of their humanity away, and not recognizing that, you know, all humans are multifaceted. You know what I mean? So in the context of like a cartoon, like, you know, Bugs Bunny, you know, just having that dude twirl his mustache and be a villain, you know, that's one thing. But when you're in the real world, you have to recognize the humanity in other people. And so it was cool in this film that they got to do that. I do find it a little funny, though, and this is, I mean funny, I mean, this was comedic, that they pushed a lot of stereotypes to the forefront and made the stereotypes be the joke. Like when they were lacing the fried chicken, when they were lacing like the Kool-Aid, things like that, they're stereotypically associated with Black culture. They're like, oh, Black people consume this stuff. This is what they'll eat. It's almost like feeding cattle chum.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing, and they were lacing this stuff. And so the filmmaker doing that was definitely commenting on that, but in a way that was making that be the joke, as though they were referring to all Black people as saying all Black people do this one thing, and hey, we see you, and that's why we're putting this in the forefront of the film, just to start a conversation on the absurdity of that.
Yeah. And I think, you know, in doing that, taking power away from that as well.
Exactly.
You know, I have moments, and I'll be very honest, I have moments where I'm on the airplane and, you know, the attendant comes over and asks me, hey, what do you want to eat? We've got turkey, we've got chicken. I pause so hard before I make a choice, because I don't want to order the chicken, because
But
I'm
you order
afraid.
the chicken, don't you?
Yeah, but I order it anyway. But
Chicken is a safe bet on a plane, no matter who you are. It's fine.
You're so lucky you get fucking chicken. They just throw crackers at me. What kind of flights are you on? Oh my god, I've only gotten real food on like. When I went to England, the British Airways gave me actual food, and it was the first time in my life on a plane I'd had actual food, because they're always just throwing crackers or cookies at me.
Did you cry? Were you like, oh my god, thank you?
I might have Instagrammed it.
I wanted to say, you were talking about the intelligence of the characters. There was something about Yo-Yo that I loved.
Yes.
And that was her Nancy Drew obsession.
Yes.
That I don't know what it was. Mine's my girl Nancy, and she's running around with the book, like clutching it to her. I was just like,
that was so cute,
so freaking endearing, and she's such a nerd.
This is some Manila folder missionary position shit. Can we just pause for a moment to just also kind of say how, you know, Jamie Foxx as Slick and Teyonah Parris as Yo-Yo chewed the scenery every time they were on camera together.
Yes, they did.
They did overshadow Fontaine quite a bit. They upstaged him a lot. But they were so watchable.
I love John Boyega. He's been in a lot of great films and stuff. I do root for John Boyega. But in this film, though, he was Tyrone, right? And they totally overshadowed him in this movie.
I think that Tyrone, especially, in comedy, you always have that one straight man. And I think that, Tyrone, I think he is our Fontaine. He's our straight man. And the weight of all of this is very much on him. I mean, it's on all of them, but the story follows him. So it's, very much on him. And I think that Teyonah Parris and Jamie Foxx's characters find a way to give some kind of levity to I think if they weren't there, would be a very dark, just a very dark film, a very dark situation. I mean, they have their own weight that they're dealing with too, but there's levity there. Their chemistry is undeniable.
I will say,
100%.
in regard to that though, John Boyega, once he had his breakdown moment where he realized his mom wasn't there,
Ugh, yeah.
that turned the page, because up until then, the scenes were all getting stolen by the other people in the scene, right?
Yeah.
Because he was essentially like an archetype kind of,
character. He was too. Yeah.
Until that moment when he became humanized. But I think had they had a moment like that earlier on, some type of moment like that earlier on in the film, it might have lifted him up. That would be my critique of the film. I know we're skipping ahead, but I think it would have helped us align with him.
I mean, what I will say about that though is, and I was thinking about this while I was watching it last night, is the tonal shifts were actually really well done. So because I felt, the different emotions that I was supposed to be feeling in different scenes. I felt like I was originally kind of very like, oh wow, this is very dark and gritty before the first time he wakes up cloned. And then I was really buying into the humor and some of the absurdity of it. But then, like, when they get found out and they're being chased by everyone down the street and they first meet Kiefer Sutherland, I was feeling the tension of it, and then the emotion in the scene with the voice box calling out, I'm just watching my stories. Like, that's kind of like all of it. Like, it literally a roller coaster ride, forgive the cliche, but it did it really, really well because you weren't one note the whole way through the film.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And sometimes that can be jarring on both sides, but this was very well done.
Did you guys know Kiefer Sutherland was going to be in this?
When he popped up, I just said to myself, wait, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
I had the same response.
But I was like,
yeah,
what the hell is he
same.
doing in
this
this
movie? And then he was a villain, and he's always the hero. So it was so weird.
Yeah, he was good at it, though.
Oh, he was so good.
It was one of those films where you could tell the actors, particularly Jamie Foxx and that, they were having a good time. They were having a lot of fun with these roles, and therefore you as the audience are having a lot of fun as well. Those, oh my God, just... I can't go on enough about just some of the verbal tennis matches between Slick and Yo-Yo. Brilliant.
Listeners, I tell you, if after you watch the movie, I encourage you to watch the outtakes. You can go on YouTube and find the outtakes for this movie. It is so good. I don't know how I would have handled myself with Jamie Foxx with some of the wild stuff that he was making up on the spot.
I would suggest as well, so I frequently will watch films with the subtitles on. Sometimes because, Anthony, my partner, is in the other room and, just to balance out the sound. But with the subtitles on, there were so many lines that were being said very quickly. Which I think if I did not have the subtitles on, I probably would not have seen or noticed it. A little bit of maybe watch it once, but if you watch it a second time, turn the subtitles on because you'll realize you are missing so much witty dialogue that is just thrown in
so
big
quick,
big fan,
rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on. So in the movie, we see that Black people have been controlled by a powder-like substance. It's in the food, it's in the hair products, it's in the grape juice, and to me, the way that I saw this, it was very much mirroring the crack cocaine epidemic that took the Black community by storm in the 80s, which the U.S. was responsible for. Listeners, there is a lot of detail, and I encourage you to look up the information. But long story short, the U.S. aided a war in Nicaragua that coincided with an influx of cocaine in the U.S. in the 1980s. There's been a long discussion since this happened about how the U.S. was involved, about the CIA being involved, and there's been a discussion about whether or not this was something that was purposefully done to destabilize the Black community. And without us going into crazy conspiracy theories and going too deep, do you think that there are other ways that our governments, Davey, because you're not in the U.S., but do you think that there are ways that our government suppresses us sometimes that we don't realize, major or subtle?
The Australian government's not smart enough, to be honest with you. I shouldn't say that. I know.
They're gonna find you.
We see right through them. Okay, there's something that actually, when you say that I think about the American government moving to ban TikTok because of Chinese ownership and, thinking that they're misusing the data and spying on citizens and all that. Now, if you don't know, it is incredibly hypocritical of the US government to be taking. It is absolute theater. If you get a chance, read a book called This Is How They Tell Me the World Ends by Nicole Perloff. It is an investigation into how America started cyber warfare by hoarding what they call exploits to common software for the purposes of espionage. Not just for, and mainly to spy on its own citizens for, a lot of it was designed around counterterrorism, post, 9/11 and all that. But ultimately, they've been doing that for decades. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, hang on, TikTok, China, no good. I know it's a little kind of left of what we're talking about here, but in terms of government charades, it's up there for me.
I think it's very on point and very timely. Thank you for bringing that up. Personally, I think right now with them going after TikTok, the way that they're going after it, I think especially with the Republicans that introduced the bill, if I'm correct. I could be wrong about this, but I think TikTok, a lot of younger people use it. I think it may have been helpful with the election in 2020, and I think that some of that is why you have the Conservative Party going after it, because it's just another way of trying to take the vote, trying to take the numbers from progressives.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really think this isn't something I really think about on a normal basis, so I don't really know how to answer that. Yeah. There's definitely times I feel like the government would prefer citizens to be more complacent and to be dumber. And I've had the thought before of whether or not they're instrumental in sort of the dumbing down of the country when, they're taking money from, education and things like that, taking money from the arts. These are, I don't know, these are just examples that are coming to my mind of ways that they can manipulate people, because if you keep people like sheep, it's easier to herd them. If they have minds of their own, then it's much harder to do that. So I don't know. This what comes to my mind.
I think you're absolutely right. I think about, especially in regards to the arts, I think there was a time when churches were threatened by theater because they understood the power of it. And, I think it's what's happening now with money being taken from the arts. I think it's no different. It's the same thing. So moving on, this film has some great and sometimes very disturbing commentary on how insidious racism can be and when it infiltrates. For example, we have the churches, which the scene with the church is probably my favorite scene because I was raised in church, and also David Alan Grier is a riot.
I love David Alan Grier.
He's an absolute mess, and he was hilarious. But yes, we've seen how it infiltrates, again, the food, the hair products, with slogans like straighter is greater, the music. And it's all about teaching a group of people to hate who they are. So my question for you guys is, has there ever been a moment where, you've really had to deconstruct and break down a programming that has taught you to hate yourself, and not so much things that are very clearly easy to see on the surface, that are clearly very black and white wrong, but just moments even now in your life where you're like, oh, I'm thinking this way because of this, and I really have to change that?
I was raised Catholic, I think it's a pretty.
Oof.
No,
Yeah, that's
I mean, I don't think I need to get into it. I think that's about all I need to say as far as that's concerned.
Guilt is in your genes. It's
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I spent a lot of time working on myself through therapy about understanding my belief systems and learning to break those down and to change them. And it's one of those things which I just can't recommend that enough people don't go and do, even if you think you do not have the slightest bit of mental health instability. And I don't even want to call it instability, right? Because we're all we're all imbalanced.
We're all crazy. If we were all,
We're all
we're
crazy.
crazy.
I love that girl in was it Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby, where somebody shows up at the house and they're pretending like their dad's still alive, and she answers the door and she's like, "Everything's perfectly fine." And I just, in my head, I hear that girl's voice to this day.
Sounds like my mother. No. God, I do love my mum. But yeah, as gay men, there's, has anyone ever read the book The Velvet Rage?
No.
So
I've never heard of it.
Fabulous. Matt, you would love it. So it's a psychologist who worked with many, many gay men over decades. And particularly sort of gay men of our generation as well, who really still grew up in that time where there was a lot of shame and a lot of guilt tied to it. So, me at the age of 40, growing up in suburban Australia in the 90s, on the coast, everything in media told me that being gay was different. And also it was wrong, and it was kind of something to be made fun of. And I remembered when I first even sort of had the inkling that I could be attracted to men and I could be gay, it was this, no, I can't be. And we carry that shame with us, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
And in The Velvet Rage, in this book, and forgive me, I can't remember the author's name, he really goes into a lot of the different patterns of behavior that result because of that. And it's one of the reasons why we're a little bit more, in later life when our heterosexual counterparts are settling down and getting slower, we're still out partying and enjoying ourselves because it's our time, because our youth wasn't ours.
We are having our moments.
But there's a lot of damage that gets done to us. And I'm not just talking about gay men. I'm talking about anyone as part of our beautiful LGBTQI plus rainbow. We all carry so much damage with us from a society that tells us we are wrong. Even though we come to realize we're not, there is still so much at play that tells us that we're not, and the patterns of behavior and the belief systems that can instill in ourselves, which even as I try really hard to change, they creep back in.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone, I just want to say everyone's being kind and gentle with themselves in that regards. And yeah, Velvet Rage, go look it up. Really good book.
Thank you.
It's tough also when you have the community, and this happens too often, where the community turns in on itself. We're all together at Pride, but outside of Pride, it's like either side comments and jokes and things that just aren't cool about maybe the lesbian community or the trans community or the intersex community or the bisexual community or any of that, that really just we should have left behind in the the 90s, and it's still happening to this day, and we need to get over that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I have the same things. Mark, you were raised Catholic. I was raised, Baptist Pentecostal, and I can only say, to his credit, he's passed on now. He passed during the pandemic. There's really only been one pastor, I think, that truly taught from a place of love. The rest of them, I think, for the most part, maybe with the exception of one of the church that I went to, the rest of them were a bit more of the fire and brimstone, kind of sometimes teaching about God as more of a punisher. Obviously, gay bashing was part of that. Therefore, I would look at myself and still have to struggle with that sometimes, of being not deserving of love, of thinking that I don't deserve to be in a relationship, in a healthy relationship. And then I think, in addition to what you were saying, Mark, about the community going in on itself, I think when it comes to people of color in our community, there is still an imbalance of representation of people of color, and even with the way that people of color are seen, there's sometimes people are fetishized, and that's the height of beauty. That can be the only way that person is seen beautiful, is if they are fetishized. And when you are supposed to be in this community that has struggled, that is struggling, and you're supposed to be in this place for family, to still have that be an issue is it does a number on you, and you have to do yet again more deprogramming, and to see yourself as being beautiful as well. So thank you for sharing.
We still don't see, including this movie, we still don't see talking about people of color in the LGBTQI plus community. When there's gay films coming out, Call Me by Your Name, like stuff like that, like mostly it's white people. I mean, Moonlight, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, which hopefully we cover on this pod at some point in the future. One of my favorite films of all time. That movie, one of the rare examples where it's presenting it wasn't a true story, but it felt true. It felt truer than a lot of gay stories that I've seen, of this childhood trauma, growing up gay, growing up in the South, being abandoned by his father, this kid, and then the role model, who's a drug dealer. This is similar to this film, that we're talking about today, where the drug dealer isn't the villain. The drug dealer is, in this story, the Barry Jenkins in Moonlight,
is a full human being.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, taking off what you said, Mark, it always made me think a little bit. When I was a young gay coming out, I remember watching Queer as Folk a lot, because that's all that I really had. Queer as Folk. It was on Showtime, I believe.
Yeah,
and then
it was.
You had, and then you had Noah's Ark, which was a queer show as well. The cast primarily people of color. I think it was all people of color in that cast, and I think that was on Logo. Logo was a queer centric channel. I don't think it's around anymore, but 20 years ago it was. And it always bothered me because you could see the budget and the difference in the at least the production quality between Noah's Ark and Queer as Folk. And that's something that it never quite sat right with me when I was younger, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I was like, why is Noah's Ark on Logo? Why are they not getting the same visual, the same kind of treatment as something like Queer as Folk is, which had an all-white cast? So just agreeing with you, Mark, and going along with what you're saying. Yeah. So there's a line that Fontaine, I call him like Fontaine the First, and that's for any Star Trek Deep Space Nine fans. The first Fontaine has a conversation with Clone Fontaine, and he's talking about how this process of cloning came about and why it came about. And he says to him at one point, the first Fontaine says to Clone Fontaine, assimilation is better than annihilation. Which, oh God, it makes me, it just...
Goosebumps.
It gives me goosebumps, and it's so scary to me. But there are people out there that genuinely believe that, and I can't even shame them, especially if they come from an earlier generation than me, where at that point in time it was just about survival. If you were a person of color, if you were queer, it was just about making sure you made it to the next day.
Well, that's why Pride shirts are sold at Target. This is going back to that previous conversation that we had.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking about assimilation by mainstream culture of the LGBT community. which is better than arresting gay people, putting them in jail, castrating them, which still happens in the world, like things like that. So in this regard, we're lucky that appropriation and assimilation of gay culture is happening in the United States in a way, rather than the reverse. The reverse, but I mean, it's still a conversation that needs to happen. But it's like that's the other side of the coin.
It rings very true to me with what I was talking about before with Australia's own history between white and black people. So the stolen generation that I was referring to earlier was the result of what was actually called in government policy the White Australia policy, which was literally a policy designed to make sure that Australia was nothing but white. And there's almost still...
That sounds racist.
And people try to say that Australia doesn't have a racist past. Or a racist present, but whatever. No, and what's interesting about that as well is because it was a huge debate last year with this referendum. You know, we all were legally mandated to go out, and the entire population to go out and vote yes or no. Do we enshrine the Indigenous people in the Constitution and give them a voice to Parliament? Now, there was, in that debate, there was a small-ish segment of Indigenous people who were in the no camp. Now, they were in the no camp because they were like, no, that's the colonizers' constitution. We don't want to be a part of that. And that makes me think of this assimilation versus annihilation commentary, right? They're like, that's the same constitution that has wiped out some of the languages spoken by our people, which existed for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, which are now forgotten. And I had so much respect for this viewpoint, even though I was a firm yes voter.
Yeah.
I respected the fact that their viewpoint was, well, no, we prefer a treaty with the colonizers over being a part of the Constitution that tried to wipe us out. So it was an interesting way to look at it. I mean, statistics said largely that the First Nations people wanted the voice to Parliament. It came through a very lengthy consultation process, which led to the referendum. But at the end of the day, what was so disappointing about it was that I thought Australia was better. I thought that we had the power to go, yes, let's do this. Let's take a step forward. You know, we are acknowledging our Indigenous people so much more these days in every facet of life. You see it on TV. You see me. I do it on my other podcasts. I always go, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. Right. But without so much of that seems almost like virtue signaling if you're not actually going to start backing it up with good, proper government policy and laws that properly address the sins of the past. As you can see, this is a bit of a hot topic for me. So I get very, very passionate talking about it.
You know, think about what you're saying, Davey, in regards to some people not wanting to be part of the institution that took them over, and then other people wanting to be for it. And I get both sides of it, and I think about, my personal feelings regarding the U.S. I'm so versed that way. There's a part of me, especially now within this country, where more and more there is a group of people that seem to just want to eradicate anything that is not white, straight, male, and rich. And I think there's another side now. You have everybody else that I think has kind of had it and is pretty fed up. And I am all for unity. And I do believe that it's still possible. I just think personally for me, I do not see how I can reach across the aisle if you just don't want me there at all. And I'm not advocating violence or anything, But at that point, when you have that kind of mentality, I feel like it's either you or me, and I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle personally. I struggle. It's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing mental, emotional battle every day.
The divide's getting larger, and I think that's what's probably really concerning. Is I felt so much positive progress throughout, especially sort of the last decade, and the decade before it. We kind of came out of, if you go back and look at some early 2000s stuff, like, it was kind of okay to make gay people, black people, trans people the butt of the joke. Even if you go back and look at some early stuff in Family Guy and some of the comedy that was on TV at the time. Yes. And then we kind of came out, actually, you know what? It's not okay. And we should start appreciating people's pronouns and giving people equal rights and marriage equality. And, then... I remember when the US voted Obama in and feeling feeling pride for America in terms of like, wow, look at how far you've come. And then the empire struck back. Literally, is what the dark side has gone, no, there is an imbalance here, and those who have been used to holding the power, holding the voice, holding the mic, and it's the divide in earnings and wealth and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, we refuse to share.
I think about it, and it's almost like a wounded animal that is backed into a corner that gets very hostile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's
the Republican Party right now.
That's the only explanation, is because you have this group of people that are so scared. They are terrified of what's going to happen in the future, and I think they're terrified of no longer existing.
You know what? Hillary Clinton just needs to stop eating babies. Once that happens...
God, you know what? Thank you.
I'm on... Right here, I am on my soapbox, and I'm going to say it right here. I'm against Hillary Clinton eating children.
Yeah. And Joe Biden should probably stop answering media questions whilst he's getting gelato. So that's all I'll say on that. Doesn't work for him.
Listeners, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
100%.
Find a way, find a minute to laugh. You have to. So, moving on to a very, very fun segment of this, Director's Cut.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Director's Cut, we act out some of our favorite scenes of the film. So, Mark, who do you want to be?
Oh, it's all juicy. But I don't know who says the N-word, because I probably shouldn't do that one.
No, I think I edited it out. I think I took the N-word out.
No, Slick Charles still says it at the end.
He does?
I was thinking that when I was watching it last night. I'm like, wow, picking scenes for this is going to be a minefield.
All right, I'll do Slick Charles.
Okay. And I will do Fontaine.
Oh, and there's a little bit of stage direction here, so I'll just read it.
No. Let Davey read all the stage direction.
Oh, great. Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can do it.
Action.
That's the knock, knock, knock. Slick Charles steels himself, creeps towards the ratty window curtains, slides them to the side.
Jesus.
And spies Fontaine staring back at him. He damn near dies.
Open the door!
Oh, hell no. I'll still early for this voodoo bullshit.
You got 5 seconds. 5.
You're not going crazy, Slick Charles.
4. I'm serious, Slick Charles.
There's a rational explanation, Slick Charles.
3. I'm gonna bust your shit open.
Fuck it. Slick Charles opens the door. Fontaine bursts in.
You know why I'm here?
Can we talk about the more pressing matter at hand?
Where's my money at?
Do you not remember getting lit the fuck up? You should be breathing through some tubes right now.
I don't have time for all this.
You took it. You went through my haberdasheries, you passed up my beige bitch, and you went all outside and you pulled a 50 cent. You ghost of Christmas pass ass nigga.
Cut.
So, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this like the actual screenplay?
I tried my best to put in the improvised lines. It is the screenplay, but when they were in the moment, they
improvised a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
So did the screenplay actually say, "Fuck it, Slick Charles opens the door"?
I mean, sometimes people write that way with the directions just to get the
emotion.
Get the emotion out, but
yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I'm learning.
All right, I think all three of us have to be in this one.
Cool.
Am I Yo-Yo?
Please be Yo-Yo.
I mean, me. If I try to impersonate Yo-Yo, then I'm just going to be embodying cultural appropriation.
Just be your version of Yo-Yo.
Be my
Yo-Yo
version of
yours.
Make
Yo-Yo
mine.
yours.
right.
Can I be Slick Charles then?
Yes.
All right.
All right, let's do this.
Action.
I'm talking the check cashing place, the dollar store, the white horse.
We watching the strip club too?
Everywhere. If it's here in the Glen, they're watching it. But only here. I looked on every single screen. Only places I saw were in our neighborhood.
Gives a fuck about the Glen.
That ain't all. Your boy was taking notes, observations and shit about the chicken, what it was doing to people. Check me out. What's the one thing we didn't see down in that lab? There were beakers and Bunsen burners and microscopes and...
Nice. We ain't seen no mice.
Somebody's conducting experiments on us.
You mean like a conspiracy? The Man, Watergate, 9/11, the Bernstein Bears?
Exactly. And if we find out who's behind it, we might get some answers about what was in that lab.
I don't want to be the cloud that rains on your cookout. We're forgetting a very necessary detail here. We ain't detectives, so I think it's time to let the real pros step in and take over.
You gonna go down to the precinct?
Motherfucker, I got warrants. But we gotta face facts. We out of clues. Now, this little role play we got going on is cute. But you's a hoe, and I'm an entrepreneur. And you're a drug dealer.
So are they.
Cut.
Okay. Why did Mark sound like my drunk uncle at a barbecue? I want to be the cloud that rains on your cookout. You forget about it.
I don't know. Oh, shit. I didn't even know how to do this character. I was like, how am I gonna fucking do this? Jamie Lee Curtis Fox. Whatever.
Jamie Lee Curtis Fox.
Fucking hell.
I felt like I was channeling Beyonce in Goldmember. Foxy Cleopatra, I'm a whole lot of woman.
Oh, I love it.
All right. Here we go. Final scene of director's cut. We've got Fontaine and Fontaine the First.
I'll do Fontaine the First. Who's going to do Fontaine?
Go ahead, Matt. I can listen.
Okay.
Action.
378. That's the number of unique genes that separate you and your ghetto from your counterpart in the suburbs. Took me 3 decades to track down each and every one of them. I think you're familiar with my test subjects.
In the lab, the tech, the manager.
Nice to know some piece of that PhD trickled down. They weren't complete successes. Their hair, it's stubborn, but they pass. I've since perfected the process, and soon we'll begin the true rollout.
I think niggas might notice if they wake up one morning with blonde hair and blue eyes.
It won't happen overnight, but over generations.
Can't erase black people from America. They've been trying for 400 years.
I'm trying to save black people. I'm trying to save everyone. Once we're all the same.
What? Have a big-ass kumbaya, the whole world holding hands, circle jerking each other and shit?
We're fighting a war we can never win. Assimilation is better than annihilation.
Cut.
Oh.
Good scene to
Nicely done.
choose, Matt. Good scene to choose.
Davey, I gotta say, your performance in this one, it made me think about the guy that announces like the movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, like that guy. Like it sounded like that guy.
Coming this summer to a theater near you.
Yes.
Really,
In a
because I felt
world.
like I became Colonel Sanders towards the end. So.
It's
It's
like a
in the
hybrid.
chicken. It is in the
It's in the chicken.
So, rewrites. Anything that you guys would change, and how would you change it if you would?
I think I brought this up earlier. I just feel like maybe having Fontaine's character, like having some sort of moment at the beginning that made him a little bit more likable, relatable. Like, you know, you want to root for the guy. He's the main protagonist of this whole thing. But you don't really fall for him until when he has this breakdown midway or towards the end of the film. And you're like, oh, okay, like now I like this guy. But beforehand, it's just like he was sort of one note. I don't know. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my kind of point earlier, is that Fontaine was upstaged constantly. And I was here for it, you know, because if all three characters were exactly the same, it would have been a little bit too one note.
Yeah.
But there was just some bits and pieces about his reactions to things and all that were a little bit off. One question, and
Yes.
I'm gonna ask it, even
Yeah.
though you're probably gonna go to me, Dave, you're an idiot.
No, please ask it.
Who was Tyrone?
So I think the point is, so Tyrone is like,
I
It
thought
is
Fontaine was Tyrone.
I mean, yeah,
That's what I thought too. Is it more just sort of like they're
I think his name's
they're
Tyrone Fontaine, isn't it?
they're cloning these sort of stereotypes or something like that, like and they're like, oh hey Tyrone, it's you.
But
Well, I
isn't
think
that
that's-
his name though?
But the guy at the end was like after it flashed up, and it was Fontaine, like the same actor sitting in the chair, and like all his friends are like, Tyrone, it's you, and I was like,
So it was Tyrone.
yeah, I
was
guess I'm
Tyrone.
trying to figure out why he was the title character.
And
it could just be-
Fontaine doesn't have the same ring to it.
Exactly.
and Tyrone is kind of like it is a stereotypical black
Like
black
Shaniqua.
name. Like
Fair
Shaniqua, like
Mercedes, Cristal.
That's
Oh,
all right.
God.
It's the same way as you can't get much more white than David. So
there's a great song, and this I should have added this to the trivia, but there's a great song by my favorite vocal artist, one of my favorite vocal artists, Erykah Badu.
Oh, so good. I love that song. They
Yeah,
clone Tyrone.
yeah.
Oh
it's
my
called-
god, that's a great
It's called
album.
Tyrone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that song was such a hit in, I think, like 97, 98. But
No.
it is
Are you
Huh?
kidding me?
Mhm.
I thought
Yeah,
I thought she wrote it for this film.
no. That song, that's kind of what put her on the map, was called Tyrone. And for this movie, she re-recorded the song with
Okay.
different lyrics saying they cloned Tyrone and they're tapping your phone. But yeah, Tyrone is always, it's kind of just like the stereotypical black name, but that song really just took off because of that.
Yeah.
But
The soundtrack's great. I listened to it all day the other day.
yeah.
Can I make
Yeah.
one of observation? Because I'm wondering
Yes.
if anyone else picked up on this. The era in which it's set is very unclear, because in the opening scene, someone picks up a landline telephone. The TVs are all CRT with tracking problems. Yet I saw mobile phones, a reference to blockchain, and I think that's something to do with the fact that it's all cloned and they're all living in these little bubbles. But then even in the facility, the computers had this real steampunk Fallout kind of look to them. Did anyone else notice that?
Well, I just thought it's because they were in the ghetto and all poor. Like they couldn't
Yeah,
afford
maybe.
nice new shit, but they splurged on a phone.
But even in the facility, the technology was very retro.
I think, Mark, I think you're absolutely right. I think that there's that's part of the commentary of the movie. I also think that some of the aesthetic choices, it's very much like a 1970s, for lack of better words, blaxploitation film. So,
Yeah.
I mean, even the way that, again, with those stereotypes, those stereotype characters, the style of dress, even, Tiana Paris's outfit, Jamie Foxx's coat, which I think is based off of this character named Superfly. That's another.
Oh, Superfly, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what his coat was based off of. I actually love that coat. It's like such a nice coat.
Oh, okay.
So, moving on to wait.
What about you?
I think I have no idea. I don't know. I would have to go back and look. I would have to go back and look again. There's always something new with this movie.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I say this all the time, but I think if I take something out, then it's going to be like, a jigsaw puzzle or like a game of Jenga, and then something else is going to fall. So I'd really have to think about what I would add or what I would take away. Standout performances, or just standouts in general, things that resonated with you.
I'm gonna. This is gonna be word soup, so I apologize, listeners. But I got some thoughts on this film that I just gotta throw out.
Yeah.
I was so entertained. It was fun. It made me feel good watching this film. I watch a lot of independent films and foreign films and stuff like that, and I guess I tend to watch like heavy things or whatever. But it was nice and refreshing to just watch something that just kept me entertained. It was fun, and it was thought-provoking, and it was intellectual on a bunch of levels, but I was entertained at the same time. And I already said this about the soundtrack, but the soundtrack is lit. So check it out if you haven't already. I liked it. It had a grainy film quality to it. I noticed.
I like that. Yeah.
That was cool. The soundtrack, the music was a lot of like older stuff, but it was cool, funky. The lighting was good. And I'm going to say this, I bring it up all the time when there's a movie I like, but there were moments in this film that breathed.
Oh, God.
Like when Tyrone's just chilling out in his car and there's this neon pink lights behind him and the lighting's sort of green. And like, it's just a mood. It's a whole vibe. And it's not a quick thing. It's not an action thing. It's just, they're just filming the dude sitting in his car. He's not even doing anything. But there were moments like that throughout the film that allowed you to sit there with him in the car and to be a part of that universe that they were building. And I appreciated that. And I love that about this film.
I want more Netflix films to be so stylistic and thought-provoking and entertaining and wonderful packages. There's a saying about films on streaming services. They don't need to be good. They just need to be good enough, right? Because Netflix needs to consider a genre of, okay to play on your phone whilst you watch this films, which is kind of what a lot of their movies are. So, like I said, I initially had a reaction to the fact it was a Netflix movie when you sent me the trailer. And I was so pleasantly surprised to see a movie of this caliber. And then there's so much. I want to go back and do another rewatch. And that's why I tell people to go and watch with the subtitles on as well to see all the dialogue you missed. Because I reckon there's a lot of detail I didn't pick up on. And even, you mentioned the grainy look. Now, I can see you've talked about the dark spots in the trivia.
Yeah.
I noticed those. I wrote a note. I'm like, why are the old cinematic dark spots appearing? And I know what they're for. It was when it was time to change the reel. But I kept seeing them, and I'm like, wait, I just saw it again. Like, why would they do that? This is a streaming movie. Why? So, but like it does those little things where it's like, but it makes you want to go and find out why. And it's a movie that left me thinking long after. I was so glad I was coming on to the podcast today to talk about it, because I watched it on my own. Anthony was studying, and when it finished, I was like, I wish that we'd watch this together so I had someone to talk about it with. So glad I got to come and do Cinema Z today. Really, really good choice.
Thank you. Very glad to have you. I think for me, standouts, I love Jamie Foxx in this movie. Just-
Mm-hmm.
I
Jamie
wish
Lee
my brain,
Fox.
Jamie Lee Fox, Miss Jamie Lee Fox, she was so good in this movie. All of that banter, that ad lib, I wish it had rapid fire like that in my brain. I love it. Tiana Paris for being, I mean, she's not, I think her and John Boyega are kind of the same class of actors that have been up and comers in the same
Mhm.
years. But I think Tiana Paris for being able to hold her own with Jamie Foxx, who has, been in this
Yeah.
much longer and has that rapid fire improvisation and can be funny as hell, and to be able to handle it and give it right back was a joy. I'm a fan of hers. I'm a major fan of hers
I
now.
loved her in this film. Loved her in this.
Yes.
One of my favorite characters. Yeah.
And listeners, watch Marvels. If you have not seen it, watch Marvels. She's good in that too. And I gotta give it up to David Alan Grier again. That church scene is hilarious. That church scene kills me. Okay, moving on to trivia.
Trivia.
Act trivia.
The film was chosen as part of the 2019 Blacklist, an annual compendium of the most liked unproduced scripts that has included eventual Oscar winners like Juno in 2007, Argo in 2012, and Jojo Rabbit in 2019. And I have seen all of those films and enjoyed all of them.
I love Jojo Rabbit. Have you done Jojo Rabbit on CinemaZ?
No, not yet.
But it'd be a good one.
So good.
Good.
One of like his favorite, like best. It's such a great film.
Yeah. The dark spots. There we go, David. The dark spots are visible in the right upper corner of the screen several times at around 18 minutes in, or at about the 52-minute mark, for example. During the movie, just like you would see in an old projection in movie theaters, the purpose of black spots was so that the projectionist knew when the reel needed changing. One spot appears briefly a few seconds before the reel needs changing, and a second one to make the switch to the next reel.
And this was director Juel Taylor. This was their feature film directorial debut, which is really cool. What a
Yes,
great
well
film
done.
to have as your debut.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well
Yeah.
done, Juel.
Director Juel Taylor stated that part of the inspiration for the film was reconnecting with an old friend who ran into trouble and spent time in prison. Something really bad happened to him that was outside of his control, said Taylor. It really took him off the map for a few years. Taylor's friend ended up suffering from depression for nearly a decade. This unfortunate situation caused the director to reconsider and reassess how blame and responsibility, or lack thereof, in the justice system caused his friend's life to be upended.
At the beginning of the film, Fontaine goes to the convenience store to buy a scratch-off lottery ticket and Anaconda malt liquor. The liquor is derived from the film Black Dynamite, another blaxploitation parody comedy. Michael J. White, who is one of the writers of Black Dynamite, allowed director Juel Taylor to use the Anaconda malt liquor idea in this film as homage to the former film.
Have you seen Black Dynamite?
I have not, and I've been
No.
wanting to. Not yet.
I heard about it a while back, wanted to check it out, and then forgot about it. So I'm glad we talked about it here, because this is something that I'll probably put on my watch list.
Brian Tyree Henry was originally in talks to portray Fontaine when the film went into development in February 2019. However, due to scheduling conflicts, John Boyega was cast in the role in October 2019. And to think that 2019 is so long ago now, I did not realize this film
weird.
was about 5 years old. Yeah.
It's weird.
Did it come out that long ago? When did the film come out?
No, it came out last year, but it was just in development since 2019.
Okay. Yeah. So probably held up by the pandemic and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Who is Brian Tyree Henry? Sorry, I apologize. What's he been in?
He was in, oh God, I'm trying to think.
He was in Bullet Train, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Widows, and If Beale Street Could Talk.
I was I was hoping he'd be the guy that was in the Old Spice commercials in the shower, but that's
No.
not. It's
No,
a different
I think
guy.
He plays Spider-Man's dad in the the two recent animated Spider-Man films.
He's
which are
Spider-Man's
really
daddy?
good, by the way. Yeah.
He's
Oh.
Spider-Man's daddy.
Oh, daddy.
Apparently, he's in the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong, which I will go and watch because I love Godzilla films. There we go.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually. One of the film's promotional film posters was inspired by The Goonies, the 1985 film poster. In both film posters, the main characters are shown to be hanging on to dear life to something in the upper right-hand corner. Furthermore, in both films, due to strange occurrences and opportunities, the groups of main characters go exploring.
Other than starring in the film, Jamie Foxx also served as one of the film's producers.
Yes, Jamie.
Yay!
All right. So final thoughts. How many clones do we give?
Out of 5?
Yes, out of 5.
Yeah, look, I would give this a solid 4 out of 5 clones. It's a surprise hit because from the trailer, not much expectation. Netflix film, not much expectation, and had a very entertaining evening. I only read an email on my phone once, so good.
That's awesome. I came into this discussion feeling like I was going to give it a 4, like Davey. But after the discussion, I'm going to cut one of the clones in half. Sorry, Tyrone. And I'm going to give it 4.5. 4.5 clones. You know, I was sitting on the couch. I really wanted to watch it with Andy, and I had been waiting to watch it with Andy. And he's been so tired lately, working a lot of 16-hour days. And so he was just passed out on the couch the other night. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw it on because I've been waiting to watch it with him for so long. And timing wasn't right. But he's there now, sitting there, even if he's passed out. And I'll just put it on. So I put it on, and about maybe 10, 15 minutes into the film, his eyes kind of pop open. And the next thing you know, he's kind of leaning over. And then I see him chuckling. And then he's like really engrossed in the film. And we end up watching the whole thing together.
Good.
And he really, really enjoyed it as well. So it was definitely a really enjoyable film. Good for both of us to watch and smile and have a laugh and think about important subjects, as we had discussed earlier. So I'm really glad you recommended this. This is a great recommendation. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to give this film, I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Surprise!
I love this film so much, and I love that it is a conversation starter and that you can really go so much into history, American history, Black history, and really break down a lot of the different things that this movie tackles, finds ways to make light of while still making you think about it. So yeah. Davey, do you want to tell us what we're looking at next week?
Absolutely.
Or next podcast?
And guess what, listeners? You don't get me once, but you get me twice. I've been bugging these two for a while. We've been trying to find... I want to come on and do an Australian film. And it will not be the last Australian film I force on you to watch because there is some great Aussie cinema out there. But I wanted to start with an absolute classic, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with because it is a very accessible slice of Australiana film. And that
Crocodile
is...
Dundee?
Like when you suggested that in the group chat, I'll say the same thing now. Ooh. No,
Crocky!
I'm talking about the 1994 most quotable film in Australian history, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which is a comedy film of sorts written and directed by Stephen Elliott and starring Hugo Weaving, very young Hugo Weaving and Guy Pearce and Terence Stamp as three drag queens journey across the Australian outback in an old bus named Priscilla, from Sydney to Alice Springs in a tour to bring their special form of entertainment to the desert. And they encounter all kinds of groups of people and hijinks along the way. So look out for that. Give it a watch before the discussion if you can, listeners, because it's well worth knowing what we're banging on about. But yeah, very excited to talk Priscilla with you.
I haven't seen this movie in such a long time, but it's a classic movie. Like I said, I think I told you guys earlier, I watched it when I was a young kid. And I've gone back and seen it multiple times since. And it's like a fine wine. It just gets better with age. I just love this film so much. It makes me smile and gives me all the feels. And I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys and dive into it, leave a deep dive that this film deserves.
Alrighty. Well, listeners, we would love to hear what you thought of today's episode, and we hope you join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, to continue our discussion there. You can also send your thoughts to @CinemaZPod on Twitter or X and BlueSky, and let us know if you'd like to recommend a film. Please follow the network on Twitter or X, BlueSky, and Instagram @BQN Podcasts.
And Discord. We're on Discord.
Right, yes, we are on Discord.
Yeah.
I'm contractually obligated by Davey to say that.
We've got a great community going in Discord. I'll give you a link to pop in the show notes.
So, Davey, where can people find you when you are not biting into a nice piece of thigh meat chicken?
I mean, it's rare that I come up for air from doing that. So,
okay.
You can find me across the BQN airwaves. My number one show on BQN is, of course, the Trexperts Quiz, the internet's only Star Trek game show, at least the only one I host, so therefore the only one I care about. You can also find me on my Twitch channel, The Bargain Bin Gamer, where I play the cheapest and shittest video games out there so that you don't have to. And also follow my writing journey over at my website, davyWrites.com. And Matt, where can people find you when you're not seducing the owner of a fried chicken store with your sumptuous pussy?
It is sumptuous, isn't it? Well, when I'm not doing that, you can find me on @1701BLERD on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Threads, and I think BlueSky as well. I wrote a web series about a gay black nerd that sees his life like a Star Trek episode, and I'm happy to say that I released my third episode, my season finale. So go on to the social medias, go on YouTube or Instagram. You can find the link to YouTube for the show there, and give it a watch. Mark, where can people find you when you are not in these streets wearing your thigh-high boots and your hoop earrings, trying to give people a Susan Sarandon?
Well, I mean, you can definitely find me doing that. But aside from that, you can also find me in the BQN Collective Facebook group, and you can find me on BlueSky a lot. And I have to say, just a shout out to Davey's other little pod besides Trexperts, but the Bargain Bin Gamer. That pod, for somebody that I do not like video games, I don't really play video games, I listen and I find you're talking to yourself hilarious. I bet
that's so funny.
I chuckle to myself at my desk as I'm listening, and so I know it's probably not as well known, but I definitely am encouraging our listeners to check out Bargain Bin Gamer as well, even if you don't like video games. Just listening to Davey break down these games, talking to himself is funny. Take my word for it. It is so funny and entertaining. And you do learn about games, but it's really entertainment value here.
Thank you. I do recommend for listeners to jump if you're into Twitch. The Bargain Bin Gamer is a little bit more at home as a live Twitch stream. However, the YouTube show and the podcast does release occasional in-depth reviews of some of the cheap shitty games that I've played.
Please hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a star rating and written review. That helps others to find the show. You can also follow the entire network's podcasts with our master feed by searching BQN.
At this time, we'd like to thank our self-procedure producer, Davey Willett.
Oh, fuck off.
A special thanks to Last Podcast for original show art. The opening and closing music for this podcast is titled Dancing Dead and was provided by Ketsa for the Free Music Archive, providing royalty-free music for content creators.
I am sorry, Davey. I am sorry, producer. We're getting canceled.
That's all right. I am going to ham it up for my part. If you'd like to help us keep all our shows fucking coming to you each week, you bunch of fucking drongos, you can become a patron. Yeah, fucking A, mate. You can become a patron of this great network on Patreon. We will add you to the Hive Mind Facebook group so you can enjoy It's Groin, Amy's Math Moments, and other network perks. With a monthly subscription of $5 or more, you can join our meetings on the Hive Mind Round Table. Fucking A. Discussion. You'll find that on the second Saturday of every month. So yeah. What are you at? We're not here to fuck spiders. Get over to visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details. Watch your fucking messages.
I am applauding.
Oh my God.
A lovely performance, Davey. Well, listeners, thank you for listening. God bless you for sticking with us.
We hope you all come back.
When we'll do some manila folder mission reposition type shit.
Subscribe to our own.
I am so happy. Oh man. Davey,
are we out? Or...
That was the most entertaining. That was the most entertaining reading of that in the history of BQN. I dare any show. That was so funny.
That was lovely.
We're uncut here on Cinema Z.
We are in more ways than one. Actually, no, that's not true. It's not.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. All right. Yep.
Listeners, David's expressions are the
regret
best.
not making that cocktail.